right. Welcome to Cardio Flow for the care of Waldenstroms. And we're here today to get moving. We know that physical activity is the #1 intervention for cancer-related fatigue. Today's class is going to be a short, medium-paced class. Our goal is to get the heart rate up. We're going to be doing simple, repetitive movements to get our blood flowing, to strengthen the core and the legs, to work the upper body, and to pump our lymph fluid for immune system support. So I'm going to start with my feet on the ground and my seat at the edge of my chair, so I'm working a little bit to stay lifted. And then what I'll do is I'll begin by warming up with my breath. I'm going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. If your nose is stuffed up, you can breathe through the mouth. We're breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth at whatever pace feels good. If it were helpful for you, you could even close the eyes. And what I'm doing here is I'm connecting to how it feels to be me in this moment. And I might choose to observe what my actual energy level is in this moment. I'm breathing in through the nose and out through the nose or mouth. And already I'm warming up for my movement sequence just by moving my breath. I can move my lymph fluid. I can get my heart rate lifted a little bit. I can raise my blood pressure a little bit. Okay, so what was the energy level? I would love it if you felt like sharing with me a numerical value. I know this can be a little bit of a stretch. It's kind of a subjective thing, but a number between 1 and 10 that represents your energy. 1 is low energy. It's perfectly okay to be here if you're low energy. And 10 is high energy. And it's perfectly okay to be here if you have high energy, or anything in between. So feel free to raise on your hands the number that represents your energy level today. And you can choose to share that or not share that. That's fine. And we've got a lot of different responses across the board. Got you. Okay, and that's helpful for me to kind of tailor the class. So we'll also have a chance at the end of class to observe our energy levels. Does this class change my energy level? Again, very subjective, treating ourselves like science experiments. So much fun. Let's begin with a little bit of easy arm movement. So I'm going to bring my arms at my sides. And I'm going to inhale, lift my arms up, palms facing up. I'm only going a little ways, and then I'm coming right back down. So I'm just going to loosen up my shoulders. Breathing in, breathing out. You could soften the gaze, find something else to look at that's not the screen. Find something kind of far off into the distance as we breathe in and breathe out. Those feet are on the earth, the seat is in the chair. You've got it. And if one arm is in pain or uncomfortable, you can do this with the other. Right? You do not have to do exactly what I'm doing. Now I might try to go a little bit higher with one or both arms. So I'm just opening up my space. This is my self-care space today. My goal is to get energized and maybe feel a little refreshed through some movement. You got it. Maybe it's just one arm. 2 more times. Breathing in, breathing out. You got it. And last one, arms up, arms down. And now I'm going to be doing a little cross the body punch. Taking my right hand and I'm punching it to the left. Taking my left hand and punching it to the right. And I might kind of twist the torso a little bit as I do this. My feet are glued down. My seat is glued down. And again, softening my gaze. I'm not too worried about what other people are doing or what I look like. I'm just going to do this movement, and it doesn't have to be shoulder height. It could be lower if you're experiencing discomfort or pain, right? You could go at a different pace than this pace. Breathing. Maybe there's something you would like to punch out of your life. Maybe it's stress. Right? Maybe it is, anxiety, waiting for the results of a blood test, which can always be anxiety provoking. And my dad, right? My dad has Waldenstrom's. He has also another cancer, and we're always, the numbers can really get to you. So we're going to punch out those numbers. We don't care. We don't care what those numbers are today. And maybe 2 more on each side. You can stop. You can always stop. Beautiful. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring my right arm up and just wiggle my fingers. I'm going to scoop underneath with my left arm and draw that arm across the body. So I'm just stretching my shoulders, and I can let my fingers rest here, keeping my right shoulder nice and low. And my body is not going with me. It's just my arm that's moving, and I'm going to let both shoulders relax. Taking a couple breaths. Good. And then we'll switch sides. I'm going to bring my left arm up as far as feels okay to me, and then gently draw that arm across the body, keeping the shoulder low, taking a couple of breaths, easing into it today, knowing that I can skip anything that doesn't feel good to me. All right. Now let's go ahead and rub the hands together, create some friction. Infuse the hands with a little bit of kindness towards yourself. Okay, and then I'm going to interlace my fingers and squeeze. And you could do this low, you could do this high, whatever feels good. And then I'll press my palms away and just juice up the fingers a little bit. So we like a little bit of movement in a lot of places during our class. And then I'll go ahead and release my hands. That's really good. I'm going to take my hands down to hold on to a part of my chair, doesn't matter where. And I'm just going to lift my heart, arch my back a little bit. So my goal here is to undo some of that rounded posture that develops naturally as a result of just being a human being on the planet Earth. And if you have issues in the thoracic spine, you could go really slow and gentle here. Then I'll bring my arms straight out in front, interlace them, and just pull the arms away from the body a little bit. So I'm creating some space in the upper back. The only thing that moved here really were my shoulder blades. I'm going to inhale and open and arch the back, maybe a little bit, maybe a lot, and then interlace and pull the arms away. Right? Taking care if you have issues in the thoracic spine. You got it, Eileen. Beautiful. We'll take one more inhale and exhale. Pull the arms away. You got it. I've got my hands interlaced. I'm going to push my palms away again. And this time I'm going to see how far up I can go before I feel like I've gone too far. I'm not going to push through discomfort or pain. And I'm just going to see how this feels. One arm can stay bent, right? You can change, modify however you need. And then I'll just float my arms down. Beautiful. And then I'm just going to take some squeezes, fist squeezes, and then presto magico, casting a spell on the things I want removed from my life, right? Goodbye to my insomnia. Goodbye, peripheral neuropathy. Sayonara. See you later. All right, and then we'll do a few bicep curls. So I'm going to take my hands down at my sides. The palms are going to face up. I could do one at a time, or I could do both at the same time. So I'm squeezing and I can feel my biceps contracting, and then I'll bring my arms down, all the way down, and I can bring them back a little bit so I get the tricep squeeze. Squeezing the biceps and releasing down. And yes, you could always do this with water bottles in your hand or a small weight. We will be having Sharon Piotrowski come later this month and give us a strength training workout. So I'm so excited for that. Sharon is back. Let's take one more bicep curl. You got it. And then I'll release and I'll give myself a hug. One arm on top, does not matter which. I'm going to tuck my chin and just thank myself for coming to class today, for taking this time. And releasing from the hug, you can give yourself a little water break if you need it. And then we'll do some marching in place. So I'll come back to my seat back here. Once again, I'm at the edge of my seat, and I'm just going to start walking. Opposite arm, opposite leg. I'm staying pretty solid and stationary and static in my core, right? So I'm not really moving too much side to side. Opposite arm, opposite leg, walking in place. Every step counts. Some of you do wear Fitbits and watches and things like that that count your steps. And that's pretty cool. And we're going to be, I just got a message from Shirley Desa. Oh my gosh, Dr. Shirley Desa messaged me. I feel so lucky. She just did some research with Waldenstrom's patients, and they were given wearable watches to track their activity levels. And there was a noted decrease in symptom severity with more physical activity. I can't wait to have her come tell us more about this research. So stay tuned. That probably won't be for a month or two. All right, I'm going to take a break here, rest my hands in my lap, and take a few breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. All right. And then the one last thing I want to do before I stand up is I'm going to juice up my ankles and give my feet a little bit of love. So I'm going to stretch out my right leg with the heel on the floor. I could hold onto my chair if I need to. And I'm just going to press those toes down and peel them up and back. So I'm pumping the foot down, pressing the gas down, and peeling it back up. Moving at whatever pace feels right for you, and just noticing what is my range of motion today. In my right ankle, in my right foot. You got it. Let's take one more on this side. And then I'll switch it up. Extend the left leg out. The heel can rest on the earth. And I'm pumping that foot down and peeling it up and back towards the face. I like to do about 10 of these. Feels really different for me in shoes. Normally I don't wear shoes, and I really explore toe movement. But I will be glad to have the shoe support when I'm about to stand up and do some things in a standing posture. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a moment to envision the steps it will take for you to come to a standing posture. So we want to do this safely. We want to do this mindfully. These transition times are oftentimes where we rush ourselves, and we can have accidents happen then. So I'm going to take my time, envision my way up, and then when I'm ready, I'll come to stands. And of course, I can choose to stay seated if I prefer. I'm going to move my chair there. I'm going to make sure there's nothing in the way. I might take a sip. And if you're choosing to stay seated today, or if you need to stay seated, modify these as best you can. And if something is just not working for you to modify it, you can always envision it in the mind's eye or do something else. So I'm going to start with a little bit of a wider stance. And I'm going to take some hip circles. So I'm just circling my hips. If you were seated, you could do some torso circles where you're just moving the top half of your body in a circle. Okay, so option to stand and do some hip circles. Circling in one direction. I'm not in any hurry here. I want to lubricate my hips. I might go the other direction. You got it. It's beautiful, Mike. So great to see you, friends. And then I'll go ahead and let my arms come down at my sides. Again, with this slightly wider stance than hip distance, I'm going to start to turn my torso from side to side, and I'm just letting my arms swing of their own accord. At the last minute, I might take a little bit of muscular movement in my arms and hit my body, just like swing and hit my body a little bit. So this is our windmills that we practice in our Tai Chi class. Just a really nice whole body movement. Now, to keep from getting dizzy, I keep my head straight ahead and I find one thing to look at. And I am not forgetting to breathe here. And I'm just letting, my feet are anchored. I'm letting my hips and my knees be soft a little bit here. One or two more on this side. All right. And then let's go ahead and bring the feet back to about hip distance apart. I'm going to be rising up onto my tiptoes, so I want to hold on to something. If you're in your seat, you can work with flexing and pointing the feet. So I'm going to rise up onto my tiptoes and float my way down. And I'm holding onto my chair to start, but I might feel like I want to explore my edge of balance here. I might want to take my hands off and float my arms up as well. And I'm not taking myself too seriously here. I'm here to also have fun. Breathing as I lift, breathing out as I float down. Maybe you want to stay with the hands on the chair the whole time. That would be perfectly fine. And I'm going to take 3 more of these. Whatever pace feels good. Floating my way down, and now I will sink into my knees just a little bit. Bring my hips back so you can really feel the glute muscles turning on. My glute muscles are turning on and I'm pulling my belly towards my spine. I might keep my hands on my chair, or I might bring my arms down at my sides and reach them back and away from me. As I inhale, I'm going to swoop those arms up, straighten my knees. As I exhale, I'll come down, sinking into my knees. Hips are back, arms are back. Breathing in, lifting up. Breathing out, arms coming back and down. Let's do a few more of these at your own pace. You can always stop if it feels like too much. You can always do more if you need more. Noticing that I'm really firing up my glute muscles here. Those muscles are so important for things like getting up out of the chair, walking up steps, and even used in walking to some degree. You've got it, Lois. I'm going to take 2 more of these chair pulses, I'm calling them. All right, and then I will take a stretch. So I can bring my hands to my chair or my wall and take some steps back, keeping my head lifted if I have glaucoma or vertigo, right? Or I could gaze down at the earth. I could soften my knees if my hamstrings are really tight today. I could pull my belly towards my spine. And I might feel a little stretch in the backs of my legs. I might feel a little lengthening in my spine. And I'm going to breathe in through my nose and out through my nose or mouth. 2 more breaths. All right, and then we're coming up nice and slow. We're going to take a sip of water, and then we're going to march in place for maybe a whole entire minute. Okay, so I'm going to get my watch started. And when you're ready, we're going to just march in place for a full minute, and we're going to see how that feels. 1 minute of marching. Opposite arm, opposite leg, as fast or as slow as you want to go. The knees could stay low, the knees could go high. Opposite arm, opposite leg. I'm breathing. I might find a place to gaze that's far away. You're halfway there. Opposite arm, opposite leg. You're doing great. Maybe you want to slow it down a little bit. Good, we got 10 more seconds to go. And I'm going to slow it way down. And I might lift my legs up a little higher. And here I am, working on my sense of balance. 1 more on each side. Beautiful. And there you have it, friends. That was a minute 11. Now I'm going to take my wide stance again. And this time I'll bring my right arm up and reach over to the left side. And I'm going to let my left arm dangle and swing even. Dangle and swing. And I'm getting this beautiful length in the right side of my body. Come back up. Left arm lift up and over. That right arm is relaxing and swinging. You've got it, Rhonda. Beautiful. And I'll move from side to side at my own pace. And it's like every time I do a side bend, my body says, oh, you really needed that. Or you haven't done that in a while. And I might take just 1 more here. All right, and then we'll come back. And I'm going to point my toes out to the sides just a little bit. And I've got my chair here if I need it. I'm going to see how it would feel to bend into my knees a little bit. And I'm sort of challenged here. I'm kind of like in a little Charlie Chaplin squat. I'll call it the Charlie Chaplin squat. And I'm going to pull my belly towards my spine so I feel really strong in my core. Now you could keep a hand on the chair, or maybe you want to bring the arms up. I'm going to inhale and stretch everything. And as I exhale, I'm going to sink down, belly pulling in, legs are strong. If you, as we do this a few more times, if your knee or knees begin to tell you to stop, you can point the toes straight forward instead. So this can sometimes put a little torque on the knees. Sinking down maybe a little deeper if you feel like it. Lifting, spreading. Good. Sinking down. We're breathing in. Breathing out. And we'll do 3 more. With the breath moving. Good. Reach for the stars. Sink down. Good. And then we'll come out of it. And once again, we're going to walk. Walking in place. I'm going to start my watch. Let's do it for 30 seconds. Walking in place for 30 seconds. Maybe this time the knees are a little higher. We're walking in place. Maybe we're marching in place in a seat. That would be fine. Maybe you're just listening to my voice and being reminded to breathe. Just breathing. All right, that was 30 seconds. Great job, guys. So now I want to stretch the muscles at the front of my hips. A lot of us have tight psoas, hip flexor muscles from sitting a lot or from doing the same motion of walking or biking. So I'm going to take my right foot forward and bring my left foot back. It could be at an angle or it could be straight ahead, whatever feels better for you. And I'll bend into my right knee. So I'm just going to do a few knee bends here. Maybe the hand stays on the chair. Maybe the hands go onto the hips. And I'm looking to just stretch the front of that left hip. And I'll support this by squeezing my left glute muscle. So I'm stabilizing a little bit there. Maybe one or two more. Good. And then let's go ahead and bring the hands to the chair. Shorten the stance. Both legs will be straight. I'm going to kick my left leg up behind me. Kicking my left leg up and squeezing that left glute muscle. And I'm just going to gaze wherever feels good. I'm going to watch that I'm not cranking my neck here. Just doing a few kicks with that left heel kicking up towards the wall behind you. And you might want to just hold it there for a moment and take a breath. And then reset by bringing the left foot forward and the right foot back. Torso is upright. And I'm just going to bend and straighten my left knee while squeezing my right glute muscle. So I'm getting a nice stretch to the front of my right hip. You got it, Marty. Beautiful. I'm loving the posture today, friend. You're getting gold stars. All right, and then when you're ready to move to the leg kicks, we're going to shorten the stance and very carefully, gently lift that right heel up and back. And we're just doing a few of these, squeezing that right glute muscle, get the glute muscle working. It's also good for the back, muscles in the back. You've got it, Betty Ann. Very nice. And I might feel like I want to hold this. And then release. And now I'll take another stretch where I walk both feet back. Stretching my hamstrings, stretching my spine. And as I do this, I'm going to invite the breath to come in through the nose and out through the nose or mouth. One more breath. And walking myself up nice and slow. And taking that little sip of water, sip of tea before we come to sit. So before I come to sit, I'm going to challenge myself to come to sit as slowly as I can. Prize goes out to the last one standing, the last one's, the slowest sit. So I'm going to make sure I can feel the chair at the back of my legs. And like we did before, I'm just going to sink into my knees and bring my hips back, turn on my glute muscles. And I might bring, my hands straight ahead or rest my hands on my hips. And just slowly come down like I'm riding an elevator down, one floor at a time. All the way down, my weight is in my heels. Sinking down, down, down. If you have knee issues, skip this. All right, and then I'm going to come to sit when it's time for me to sit. All right, really nice. We have a tie. Ruth and Edith, last woman standing. Really nice, guys. It's so good to see that. I mean, that really shows me that you have some serious core and glute strength. that you have worked hard to get over the course of your life, and also balance. So let's go ahead and warm down a little bit. I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left knee. So it's kind of an express cardio flow today. Crossing my right ankle over my left knee and maybe taking a moment to address the lower limb, especially if I care for peripheral neuropathy. I could massage the calf, I could massage the ankle or the foot if that's available. And then when I'm ready, I'll turn this into a hip stretch. So I might already be feeling a lot of sensation just like this, or I might feel like I could just lean the heart forward a little bit till I find that healthy stretching sensation in the right hip, softening my shoulders, softening my gaze, taking a few easy breaths. And then we'll slowly come up and cross the knee over so that right knee is just nestling on top of the left. And I'm going to use my core strength to twist to the right, twisting to the right, and then I can bring my hands anywhere that feels good to support this twist to the right. And maybe it's a very, very gentle, subtle twist where I'm simply using my abdominal muscles, I'm squeezing my ab muscles and twisting ever so infinitesimally to the right. Softening shoulders, finding my breath, and releasing back to center. When you're ready, switching sides. I've got that left ankle up over my right knee, and I'm going to take a moment to address my lower limb here and say hello and say thank you for everything that you do for me every day that I just completely don't notice. And just moving into my hip stretch when I'm ready. I could already be feeling the sensation that's right for me, or I might want to increase that amount of sensation just by leaning forward. Nice flat back here, soft shoulders. Entering into the breath. And then when you're ready, sitting up, crossing the knee over, and once again, squeezing those abdominal muscles and doing a little twist to the left. Maybe it's a twist you can feel in the lower back, a little bit, or in the middle back, or in the neck, or all three places. But I'm twisting here safely by using my muscles, my abdominal muscles, to help support my twist. And when I'm ready, I'll come back and I'll take a big stretch. Arms overhead, legs out. And then, very important, I'm going to allow myself a whole minute to do nothing. You know, you came to a movement class, and here I am telling you to do nothing, but this is where you're going to reap the benefit, is by giving yourself a little rest period. So if you have a comfortable way to sit, you could go ahead and stay seated, right? Maybe some of you have already moved to a reclining posture. Maybe you feel comfortable popping down onto the floor or onto the couch. I'm going to create a little boundary around this next minute. This next minute will be for resting. Okay, so let's go ahead and soften the gaze or close the eyes. And we start to let go of the effort in the body, little by little. I can let go of the effort in my jaw, the muscles in my face. I can let all the muscles around my eyes relax. I can let go of the shoulders. I can allow my belly to soften and just really let go of effort in my belly for a moment. And as I do that, maybe I could notice the sensation of breath moving in and out of my body. Letting go of effort through my legs, allowing my legs to be heavy, all the way down to my feet. And I'm going to take a few breaths here from head to toe, filling my body with my breath and letting it go. And maybe one more breath. And then I can do a little internal check-in. Maybe I feel relaxed and calm, but what is my energy level? And if there is a numeric value, maybe you allow that number to percolate up into your mind's eye. Maybe it's time to take a nap now. But we're coming back from our period of rest that actually was 2 minutes, which is actually a better number, really, in my opinion. So we're coming back. We can open the eyes and address that energy level change. Maybe it went down. Maybe it went up. Maybe it stayed the same. But if you have a numerical value that you would like to share with me from 1 to 10 here in the live session, you can share that by holding up the number on your fingers, where your energy level is. And then maybe you tell me, did it go up or did it go down? Or did it stay the same? Yeah, interesting. Okay. We have everything across the board there with energy up, energy down, energy staying the same. Everybody is so different. So friends, I hope that you will take exquisite care of yourselves in the meantime. And thank you so much for coming today. It was great to see you.